guys, my name is Gaby. I'm 21 years old, and I was born in West Africa in a country called Liberia. At the time, there was a civil war happening, and I was very fortunate enough to be hidden in the jungle, where a lady found me and put me in an orphanage. There were over 200 kids living there and 24 girls in one room. I was very malnourished, and I weighed 17 pounds when I was 4 years old. And I had a severe case of malaria, and I was in the hospital for 2 weeks and took medication pills for a month. Because of the Civil War, thousands of kids became orphans, and a team of missionaries came down to help out after the war. These two couples, they just felt a desire to adopt 2 kids, and they asked the orphanage director to help them choose. Out of thousands of kids, they chose my sister and I, which later resulted into us being adopted into a loving family of 5 brothers. We were shown unconditional love by complete strangers, but now they're my family. And I went to private schools all my life, so I kind of just went with the flow, and my parents are Christian, so I'm a Christian as well. That's kind of how I lived life. I was very sheltered when it came to all this partying stuff, and I had no idea what the experience would be like. So I always felt abandoned and left out of things. And as soon as I started getting invites to all these parties and stuff, I would never say no. I would never give up the option. After going to a couple of these events, people started to call me the chill Christian, and I was like, okay, so I can be a Christian but still be chill. I started noticing that I was living 2 completely different lives of what I was doing on Sunday to what I was doing during the week. Out of nowhere, I just felt this big burden of guilt in my chest, and I had no idea where it came from. I felt ashamed to talk about my faith and let people know that I'm not just a chill Christian. But I would say the one thing that drew me closer to God was realizing that even when I was in the jungle, my journey with the Lord began right there. Being left in the jungle, if it wasn't for God, I would not be here at all today. There's animals there, there's no food there, not enough shelter there, so it's a miracle that I'm even here today. So when they brought me to the orphanage, they had no idea who I was, where I came from other than the jungle, and they based my age off of the way I was interacting with the kids and how I was eating. So as of right now, I know nothing about myself. I don't know who my parents are. I don't know how old I am. I don't know why I'm here. Throughout my life, my biggest fear is being my biggest fear would be being left alone. But becoming a Christian helped me realize that God will never abandon me. He will always be there for me every step of the way. He will not forsake me, and He will not leave me. After accepting God as my Savior, I am no longer ashamed to tell people about my Lord and about His unconditional love and how He cares about you even when you know nothing about Him. I need to be a part of sharing the gospel because I want others to know that even in the midst of you having nothing, or you feel like you're just not worthy enough, that God will always be there, and He will be waiting for you until you're ready, and He will never leave your side. There's this verse in the Bible that every time I feel like I'm slipping again, this verse always helps bring me up, and it's, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." We all have a story, and no story is too small.